Hey guys, what's up? We're back with another video today, and today I'm doing my Arkansas, Texas preview. So as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach 200 subscribers for the end of the year. Like this video if you enjoy it. Comment all your thoughts and opinions down below as always. And make sure you go ahead and check out my podcast. It is the Chicago Sports Network podcast. Check it out on Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor. Most podcast sites have it. I would suggest Spotify is the one that I think works best whenever I listen to it. So that one is probably the best to check out. But whatever podcasting site you generally use, make sure that you go check that out. But let's get into today's video. So we are doing a Texas Arkansas preview, mostly for my uncle, who's a big Arkansas fan. You'll see him in the comments section, probably Aaron Ruby. But I think that it is going to be a fun game, so I decide, hey, why not? I preview it. I preview this game in my podcast, College Football Truth Day with American Football Network. So if you want like general picks of most games, we do two top 20 games. And that's not based on AP poll. We do 20 games and pick them. So, and it's not on the spread or stuff like that. But so either way, let's get into today's video. So a quick overview of what is going on with the Texas Longhorns. So you have Hudson Carr at quarterback, Bijan Robinson at running back. And the reason why I point out those two specifically is because of their success, especially in the Louisiana game. You had a game in which you had a great team, or at least was last year, in Louisiana, that could be in an interesting team in years to come and stuff like that. So I was very intrigued by that big win there by Texas. So I thought that this Arkansas game would be a lot more interesting. Arkansas seemed to struggle a little bit against Rice up until the fourth quarter, and then they just smacked it on them. It was, I think, 17-17 until the fourth quarter, and then Arkansas won the game 38-17. The only concern that I have about this game particularly is that Arkansas, their offense is very dependent on whether or not their quarterback is going to be able to make plays. And I think that even though I really like KJ Jefferson, the ability for him to make plays is kind of questionable because of his lack of development in the Rice game. And I understand that it is week one and you don't want to judge one game as the entire season and just kind of project it out. But I think that it is important to say there's a little bit of a concern here because you didn't get guys like Treylon Burks and Traylon Smith. Whereas a little bit lackluster at the running back position. Treylon Burks basically got no targets for being one of the highest rated wide receivers in the upcoming NFL draft because of his speed and his height and his ability and his prowess. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But generally, I think that this Arkansas team has all the ability to be able to make it past this Texas team. But I think it really comes down to this. So I am going to give, since I'm going to be a little bit more biased towards the Arkansas side, because I'm going to give Arkansas 3 keys to victory, and then I'm going to give Oklahoma 3 keys to victory. Never mind, I'm not going to be biased. 3 keys to victory for both teams, and then I am going to give my final game prediction. So the first key for Arkansas is get Treylon Burks and KJ Jefferson started. And if you don't get those two started, at least get the ball diversified throughout the wide receiver core and make sure that you're protecting him and getting him going early. Early on in that game is what really needs to happen for him. If you're able to help a quarterback who is a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, I don't understand he's a redshirt sophomore, which means he's academically a junior, but at the same time, he's also a redshirt freshman, and that he still has 4 years left of eligibility because of COVID and redshirts. So it's complicated. Second key to the game for the Razorbacks is defensively they have to be stout and they have to stop the running game of Texas and B.J. Robinson. That is going to be a tall task, but I think guys like the transfer from Illinois State, big Redbirds fan here. So that's Illinois State's mascot. If you didn't know that and you wondered what I was saying, John Ridgeway and Eric Gregory or Marquis Eustace. You really want all of those guys on the defensive line to really step up in this game because I think that this game could be a defining moment for what is going on with this program because I think that Sam Pittman is a good head coach. And to be honest, even though we went 3-7 last year, I think that there were 2 wins that should have gone his way. And I think that if they went his way, that season being 5-5 and not 3-7 could look very different. And I think that this season could really be a turning point for this Arkansas football program. The third and the final key is that you cannot blow the game with turnovers late in the game. I know this sounds like kind of very specific, but I think with a younger team, generally, these types of teams blow games later, blow leads later because of turnovers. You cannot make stupid mistakes later in the game if you want to beat a team like Texas with the talent of Texas and a good head coach in Steve Sarkisian. Okay, so now on to the 3 keys for Texas victory. So the first key, it starts with getting B.J. Robinson going. You have to make sure that that running game is going and going because if you are forcing it all on Hudson Card, that could lead to some unfortunate turnovers or hurried up mistakes and stuff like that. So I would say get the running game going first, get it started early, get it going often. So if you're able to do that, you're able to open up the whole playbook and really get it going, especially in that second quarter and third quarter, and really open up a lead. The second key to the game is make sure that you stop Arkansas's biggest weapons. Make sure you stop the Traylon Burks, the Traylon Smiths, and make sure that you're able to build up a dynamic defense there so that way they're not getting open and stuff like that. If that means double teaming Traylon Burks or stuff like that, that means double teaming him. That means you have to stop him. Otherwise, if you let him get going, that could end poorly for you guys. Then the third and final thing is you cannot turn the ball over. Texas has a tendency to turn the ball over, I feel like, in past years, especially under Tom Herman, in key situations. So I think that it is important that you don't turn the ball over, because if you turn the ball over in Fayetteville, I went there for a game, and this was against Louisiana, so not a big game. But that place can really get rocking, so I think that with the home field advantage for the Hogs, that is a key thing. You cannot let the fans get into this game. So you have to stop and minimize turnovers, especially early in the game and later in the game, especially early, because you don't want to get the fans' hopes up and excuse me, the hopes up and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you start off the game with a bang early on, not turning the ball over and being lazy and stuff like that. So there's that. My final prediction for today's game, or for Saturday's game, because this video will be out on Friday, is I think Arkansas wins. I think Arkansas wins 31-24. So I'm predicting a pretty close game here. I know it's 7 points, but obviously that means 1 touchdown away or stuff like that. I think that this should be a fun game. It's a matchup I'm going to be watching this weekend. So make sure that as always you are subscribed down below, like this video, comment all your thoughts and opinions, your score predictions, anything. I respond to every single comment. That is one of the best parts about doing this YouTube channel, is building that community like that. So as always, have a great day. Bye.